Hey everyone, Sam here from Striation 6, and I'm back with this final section of our guide, 4 awesome ways to bulletproof your low back without exercising your low back. The last component of this guide has to do with the shoulder blades, and to some extent, this section on the shoulder blades is really kind of an extension of what I said earlier on in the guide about the thoracic spine. Just because the shoulder blades and the spine are so closely tied together in terms of muscular overlap and in terms of continuity of function with one another. So what I want to get across in this guide today as an example of how to improve the function of the shoulder blades is to first make you aware of a motion called scapular retraction, okay? Scapular retraction is basically bringing your shoulder blades back in space. Now you may notice as I bring my shoulder blades back that there's a bit of elevation that goes with it. Okay, elevation is lifting of the shoulder blades. Now a little bit of elevation as the shoulder blades go back is completely natural and not a problem, despite what other people in the exercise industry might say. They can have their opinions, but that opinion is wrong. So don't fret too much if your shoulder blades rise a little bit as you move the scapula back and forth. And the first thing I think most people ought to do is just get familiar with this motion, try to uncouple it from movement of the spine, detangle those things, move the shoulder blades back, move them forward, move them back, move them forward. Once you have a good sense of that, you can start to do some things to actually resist this motion. Now, a lot of people will say that common rowing exercises are sufficient for this. I would say that you would do well to actually maybe try to isolate or emphasize, not isolate, but emphasize the shoulder blade motion on its own. A really simple way to do this, we have some really cool tools to do this here at Striation 6. One simple one that we have here and that you could probably easily replicate at home if that's a thing for you is just attaching a couple of handles to an elastomer like this one and setting yourself up to just have your scapular retraction resisted. Now you notice that the elastics I have set up here have a bit of a downward inclination to them, and we don't need to get too picky about this. I'm just feeling a very, very little bit of resistance to this scapular motion. Notice I'm not putting a whole lot of elbow into it. I'm really letting my shoulder blades go to work here, distinct from the rest of my arms, my shoulders, and especially distinct from my spine. This is a lot of time where we run into trouble stressing the low back where the low back ought not be stressed. By becoming familiar with this kind of motion and maybe even improving the output of it with these kinds of exercises, it's another way that you can indirectly save your low back some unnecessary stress and improve a part of your body you might not have thought of before.